Hello, I'm Denlyn Murphy, and today I am going to present my individual assignment for TPT 251, and I'll be focusing on air transportation from Chapter 3. So, for my presentation, I'll be covering the core system characteristics, operational trade offs, governing policy frameworks, stakeholder dynamics of aviation, followed by the detailed case on digital and infrastructure innovation within Malaysia. So before I start, we must first establish the structural boundaries and foundational components that define the global air transportation mode. Alright, looking at the key characteristics, air transportation is uniquely defined by three structural elements. First, the way. It is entirely natural, utilizing universal airspace. This offers unmatched operational flexibility. But because it is international in character, it requires rigid international frameworks, and it's overseen by the ICAO and also the IATA. Second, air travel provides extreme terminal to terminal speed, which justifies and offsets its high capital and also labor costs. Third, to optimize efficiency, the aviation heavily relies on hub and spoke network system to consolidate traffic loads from smaller locations to into central hubs. Okay, moving on. So, when we compare air transportation to other logistics modes, we can actually observe distinct trade offs. Like, for example, on the positive side, air transportation actually offers exceptionally fast delivery times for express couriers like DHL or FedEx, and it requires minimal cargo handling, and this can reduce stuff like cargo theft and damage risk, and it can reach remote landlocked destinations. However, the trade offs include like stuff like high fuel and high airport costs, strict weight, and volume constraint, and it makes it impossible to carry bulk cargo like timber or coal, and it completely depends on road networks to fulfill first mile and last mile door to door delivery. Okay, so in terms of infrastructure, Malaysia actually features a very high developed aviation network consisting of six international airports, 16 domestic terminals, and also 18 short takeoffs and landing ports. Our primary economic getaway is the KLIA, Kuala Lumpur International Airport, which acts as a major regional hub. The integration of specialized infrastructure such as dedicated air cargo villages, cold chain facilities, and free commercial zones is what successfully drives Malaysia's cross-border logistical capabilities. Okay, next, to analyze the industry comprehensively, we must look at how the five core stakeholder groups interact. First, being the government agencies like the Ministry of Transport, the CAAM, NAVCOM, they handle the microscopic policy and safety regulation. Secondly, transport operators such as Airport Manager MAHB, commercial airlines like MAS Cargo, and third party logistic firms, they execute everyday logistics. And thirdly, consumers meaning passengers and shippers, they supply the core economic demand. Next, fourth, environmental watchdogs ensure compliance with sustainability mandates like CORSIA. And fifth, local community organizations, they balance the noise and environmental footprints near major airports with local job creation. All right, moving on. The aviation operates under strict legal frameworks. So nationally, the Civil Aviation Act of 1969 establishes the legal power for CAAM to enforce flight safety. This is paired with the National Transport Policy 2019 to 2030, which pushes for better multimodal logistics and green practices. Regionally, the Asian Open Skies Agreement promotes competition by liberalizing market access for airlines. And finally, under current green initiatives, Malaysia is actively working towards net zero carbon goals through global offset schemes. So now let's look into how modern technological transformation and infrastructure projects are actively resolving the industry's biggest operational challenges. So let's look into a real world case study. We examine the massive efficiency gains brought by digitalization. So, as shown in the comparative bar chart, the legacy manual system required physical document handling that caused severe administrative bottlenecks, taking anywhere from 180 to 360 minutes per shipment. By migrating to electronic airway bill or EAWB ecosystem and introducing digital customs verification platforms, processing turnaround times have dropped to under 15 minutes. This represents an incredible 90% reduction in processing delays while eliminating human data entry errors. Malaysia's strategy stands on three innovative pillars. So, for sustainability, the country is actually launching domestic sustainable aviation fuel by late 2025, with a mandatory 1% blend rule starting in KLIA in 2027. For digital logistics, agencies like MDEC are encouraging private sectors to adopt AI and blockchain to trace cargoes. And for smart handling, major investments are going directly into cold chain infrastructure to support high value pharmaceutical and e-commerce growth. So finally, the ultimate vision of this strategy is the structural expansion of KLIA Aeropolis. This project is turning the surrounding airport area into a highly integrated airport city. By creating specialized clusters for air cargo, logistics, and also aerospace engineering, KLIA Aeropolis seamlessly connects air, maritime, and local networks, positioning Malaysia as the preferred logistics hub across Southeast Asia. So, in conclusion, while air transportation is unfortunately naturally bound by high costs, capacity limits, and environmental impacts, Malaysia's strategic blueprints and digital transitions successfully navigate these challenges. By aligning the needs of regulators, operators, and communities, we can actually create a resilient and a highly efficient logistic network. So, that concludes my presentation for today. Thank you so much for your time and have a nice day.